Good afternoon, class. Today, I would like to discuss Fort Worth, Texas for our regional music scene. I would love to talk to you about what the influences it's had, who it represents, and what big artists have come from this area, and what they did for the music scene itself. Let's dive in a little bit deeper into the history of Fort Worth, Texas. First off, it's a booming scene that contributes to an estimated $2 million a year, and that number keeps rising, and that's all contributed to tourism. It is a central hub back a long time ago for cowboys to sell their cattle. It's a must-play city if you're into country music, and it has deep roots with country music itself. It has a long, important history with country music and those that came by it. And it also gave birth to such legends as Bob Wills, Milton Brown, and the Light Crust Doughboys. And all these bands, all these artists have a deep rooted connections with the Fort Worth area and the influences that came from other regions such as Mexico, uh, Oklahoma, the surrounding New Mexico, Louisiana. And with the influences from all these different parts of the region centralizing in Fort Worth, it's given its own very unique sound, a little bit of country with a little bit of Spanish influence with a little bit of Cajun influence, and you just get this country sound that that is very unique to Texas itself. And that's where Fort Worth itself comes into play, and it gives itself its own unique style that is different from music from Nashville or from Memphis or any kind of country that's associated with that as well. All right, now for the Fort Worth musicians that I chose, number one, I chose T Bone Burnett. He's a music producer and a musician. He's got deep roots of Americana, traditional, and folk music that were essential to that time. That made that influence from the dawn of the Cowboys and the music they brought. And at the time, he was listening to Johnny Cash and all these other great bands that he listened to growing up from his parents, and infused that to make what he perceives as folk music slash Americana. He is also a producer, a musician. He's also Next. I'd like to talk to you about the Toadies. They were a Dallas Fort Worth band that was popular back in the '90s with their grunge style of music, progressive and alternative rock that was really big at the time. They came at a weird time of music, right when Nirvana was getting big and '80s hair metal was dying out. And not being centrally located in Fort Worth, they were in a weird music scene at the time. Country dominated that main area for quite some time, and now that the Toadies were on the rise, they helped influence the alternate rock scene slash grunge scene and made it what it is today. They helped influence all sorts of younger bands that came from that area that helped the Texas rock slash metal scene uh, is what it is today. They were main contributing factors to that, and they just wanted us to get that going for them and to make a name for themselves, being in a city that's predominantly dominated by country rock or country western music. And like I said, they were popular for the '90s for their grunge style type of music. They were well known for their hit single "Possum King," which is still being played today on the radio. They were also signed to Interscope Records, Kirkland, and Azera Records as well. They helped give the grunge scene in Fort Worth some life of its own in a town dominated by country. And without that influence that they had in showing what they can do and what they could be in a town that's not their music scene and what that town is known for, they really helped set the standard to what could be possibly made because of them not conforming to the norm of country music. I read in an article that the lead singer and the bass player for the Reverend Horton Heat uh, broke off and they did their own little thing. They started their own band called the Burden Brothers, and it was very country western rock themed. I can definitely hear the influences of Fort Worth within that rock music, but it was not considered country music. And it's definitely interesting to hear that another genre such as psychobilly, which is that's where the Reverend Horton Heat came from, that this guy from the Toadies, excuse me, and Reverend Horton Heat, they came together and made this very unique sound. And to me, that's very interesting because I know who the Reverend Horton Heat is. He's a underground psychobilly legend, and psychobilly is just like a fast punk version of rockabilly. All right, next I would like to talk to you about one of my favorite bands, Ghoultown. They are classified as gothabilly slash dark western. The only way I can describe what Ghoultown is or who Ghoultown is, if I was to paint it as a picture, it would be Clint Eastwood from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, mixed in with some kind of zombie movie or with Frankenstein. It's that eerie spaghetti western meets Nightmare from Bold Mountain, any kind of stuff like that, or country western meets Halloween, and that's how I can only describe Ghoultown. They were a major influence in the underground scene, which the music I love. They helped contribute and started a factor of gothabilly. They've been around since the late '90s. They were on many numerous music videos. They made all kinds of things that I can't even think of. Ghoultown also was a major influence in gothabilly, western rock music. They uh, they helped strongly influence other bands that wanted to go that way and sound that way, and they were kind of like the godfathers of that. They toured with many different bands. They opened up from legends such as the Misfits to Hank Williams III. They've toured all over Japan, the Netherlands. They toured all over Europe, South America. They've played everywhere and anywhere that you can think of for that particular genre of music. That's pretty impressive, I would say. They also made tons of music videos. They starred in many films, mainly independent films, and they were also in a video game as well. I can't remember the name of the video game, but they were on it down there as well. And they were also made a music video for Elvira and her movie Macabre show that was on TV for quite some time. They made a music video and they made a song about her personally. And I've seen the music video. I love the song. It's definitely a song worth checking into. I definitely like this band a lot, and I can definitely hear the cowboy, the roots of Fort Worth in this band, mixed in with the aggression of punk rock and their influences, as well as the Tex-Mex style where they're from with the trumpets, with the theme, the Western theme, like the spaghetti Western theme of the cowboys that we think of, such as Clint Eastwood and the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and John Wayne. You can definitely hear that mix, all that, and to make it extra spicy, they throw in a little bit of Halloween on top of it, and I definitely love it. It's one of my favorite bands, and I highly recommend that you listen to them. In conclusion, I would like to say that Fort Worth has definitely brought a lot to offer to the music scene, especially for people to listen to that love country music, to rock music, to the underground scene that I love so much that bands don't get mentioned at all, that you probably never even heard of. All those, and definitely we can just we look towards Texas, and they also have a great music scene down in San Antonio, down in Dallas. But the main powerhouse would be, in my opinion, would be Fort Worth. A lot of great bands and legends came from that area, and it's respectable, and their music scene is up and coming out there. It's only getting bigger and bigger, and that's it. And that's my regional music scene, Fort Worth, Texas. Thank you very much.